This playthrough is rated M for mature.
Greetings and salutations, viewers. Vauldemare back here with more Hakuōki, Stories of the Shinsengumi. In the last episode, our female protagonist, Hinata, was taken capture by the Shinsengumi, and they were to decide what to do with her. Now we're being introduced to them like some weird Japanese historical sitcom with all their own unique personalities, except they're all dressed differently, but all their faces are pretty much the same, and drawn as if they're not sure if they could actually grow facial hair and all that other stuff that I have issue with a lot of anime type of drawing. Anyway, let us go back to the story, shall we? Let us find out what happens to our female protagonist today. Leave off, you grumpy old bastards.
ふざけんなよこのお坊ちゃまが。俺らにそんな口聞いていいと思ってんのか?
LOL, boy. You think you get away with talking to us like that?
平助におじさん呼ばわりされるほど年食ってねえよ。シンパチはともかく俺はな。
Besides, I'm highly mature enough to be called old. Shinpachi maybe, but not me.
てめえ、裏切るのか佐野。
You son of a bitch, I thought we were friends.
はは、シンパッツさん図星されて怒るって大人げねえよな。
Oh, come on, Shin. Won't go when an adult gets so worked up over something like that. They're back and forth at the feel of a routine that long predated my arrival, but they couldn't quite hide the odd, inquisitive glance in my direction. It is like a sitcom. I could sense something other than simple curiosity, though. A feeling of animosity or resentment, perhaps? Despite their cheerful levity, they had not forgiven my presence among them. Suddenly, I wanted very much to go home. I wanted to leave that place and never return. My chest tightened, and I looked down at the floor, hoping that I might just wake up at home in my bed.
口さがない方ばかりで申し訳ありません。あまり怖がらないでくださいね。
Ah, the glasses guy. You always gotta have one of those. I apologize for all this frightening behavior. Please don't give them the pleasure of unsettling you. Oh. His voice was calm and warm, but I felt myself relax, even if only a little.
何言ってんだ。一番怖いのはあんただろ、三男さん。
Are you serious? You're the scariest out of all of us, Seinen. Seinen. Kisuke Seinen, a colonel in the Shinsengumi. He is a native of Edo. He is essentially a consultant to the chief of the Shinsengumi, Asami Kando. There was the faintest trace of a smile on Hijikata's lips. As he finished speaking, the rest of the men nodded solemnly in agreement. I found it hard to believe this man could be as scary as they all seemed to think. Usually in most anime, the guy with the glasses is like the creepiest motherfucker out there.
鬼の副長まで何をおっしゃるんです?
It's kind of a trope, really, when you think about it. Oh, how crude! I can understand their feelings, but they're even our demon of a commander should think so. The man called Seinen smiled as he spoke and leaned back. His repose delivered. Hijikata said nothing, but his own smile did not leave his face.
トシと三男君は相変わらず仲がいいな。
Oh, crap, I'm running out of accents. Oh, you're lucky to have a friend like Seinen, Toshi. I'll give him the old man voice, why not? Hijikata and Seinen had sounded so cold when they had spoken to one another. Not what I would have called friendly. Still, the man who had spoken had certainly sounded as though he thought they were friends.
ああ、自己紹介が遅れたな。俺が新選組局長、近藤勇だ。
Oh, my apologies. I haven't introduced myself. I am Asami Kando, chief of the Shinsengumi. Asami Kando, one of the founders of the Shinsengumi, an organization created to keep the peace in Kyoto. He's originally from Edo. I shouldn't be giving the old man voice, but I'm running out of accents. The most important man in the Shinsengumi, then. If I kill him now...
それから、そこの都市が副長で、横にいる三男君は総長を務めて。
Toshi over there is our commander, and Seinen is our colonel. Sometimes I have to start getting goofy, otherwise I'm gonna have stuff to say.
なんでいろいろ教えてやってんだよ、あんた。
Kando, why are you telling me all this?
まずいのか?
Why do you think it's a bad idea?
情報を与える必要がないんだったら 黙ってる方が得策なんじゃないですかね。
Well, unless you really think this kid needs to know all his secrets, maybe you should keep your mouth shut.
わざわざ教えてやる義理はないんじゃない？
Exactly. Why bother anyway? We don't know this kid anything. Harada glanced over his condo and let out a bark of laughter.
ま、知られて困ることもねえよ。
True, but it's not like I'm. I was gonna try to do Irish. True, but it's not like I'm telling him it will hurt us. Kondo had looked rather disappointed when Hijikata spoke, but he perked up at Harada's words. I'd scarcely known him for 5 minutes, but already I could see that he was well liked by his men. He had that sort of a charisma that simply drew you in, a man who is impossible to hate.
さて本題に入ろう。まずは改めて昨晩の話を聞かせてくれるか。
Well, let's get back to business at hand. Can you run through what happened last night? Kondo's glance moved toward Saito, who gave a small nod and began to speak.
昨晩、今日の都を巡回中に不老の老師と遭遇。相手が刀を抜いたため、切り合いとなりました。
Last night we were on patrol when we encountered some wandering Ronin. They drew steel, so we fought.
大使らは老師を無力化しましたが、その折、彼らが失敗した様子を目撃されています。
Some of our men subdued the Ronin, but in doing so exposed their failure. As he finished, Saito turned to look at me. I swallowed and forced my mouth to open. I didn't see anything. Ichikata softened a little at my response, but Saito remained expressionless, and the smile on Okita's face didn't change.
なあ、お前本当に何も見てないのか？
Huh? You sure you didn't say anything? Yes, I didn't see anything. I hope that if I said it enough times, they might start to believe me.
見てないんならいいんだけどさ。
Really? Well, if that's true, then I don't see what the problem is.
あれ？掃除の話では、お前が大使でも助けてくれたって話だったが。
Hold on a minute. I thought Soji said you helped out some of our men or something. No, that's not true. I glanced over at Okita, but his smile still hadn't changed. Whatever he was thinking was a mystery to me. I was running away from the Ronin, and then some people with Shinsengumi uniforms showed up. Really, they sort of rescued me.
じゃあ、大使どもが老師を切り殺している場面はしっかり見ちゃったってわけだな。
Then that means you saw them slicing up those Ronin, right? I couldn't exactly deny it. Well, you could. You just didn't do it very well. But I knew that if I just shut up then, I know for sure that I was lying.
つまり最初から最後まで一部始終を見てたってことか。
So in other words, you actually saw everything, the whole ugly business. I was completely at a loss.
お前根が素直なんだろうな。それ自体は悪いことじゃないんだろうな。
Hey Harada, aren't you cold with your chest exposed like that? Oh wait, this is a game for female readers, so you've got an honest heart. That's not really a bad thing, but I wasn't sure what to make of Harada's words. My presence had not been a good thing for the Shinsengumi. Would their next words be the ones that condemned me to death for being in the wrong place at the wrong time? My voice shook, but I knew I had to try. I won't tell anyone, I promise.
偶然老師に絡まれていたという君が敵側の人間だとまでは言いませんが。
It seems unlikely this attack was mere chance. Then again, I have no reason to think you're an enemy either.
君に言うつもりがなくとも相手の誘導尋問に乗せられる可能性はある。
Even if you do not intend to tell anyone, you could be captured, interrogated. I doubt you could withstand torture. Do the sound from Bob's Burgers. Oh, I forgot her name now. Anyway, his voice was still warm, but his words were cold, and I began to feel my chances at life slip away.
話さないというのは簡単だが、こいつが新選組に義理立てする理由もない。
It's easy enough to stay quiet, but if someone should try to coerce you, you've no reason to keep our secret.
約束を破らない保証なんてないですし、やっぱり解放するのは難しいですよね。
We don't have any kind of guarantee that you'll keep your word. It wouldn't be very smart to just let you go. They had a point, but...
ほら、殺しちゃいましょうよ。口封じするなら、それが一番じゃないですか。
Let's just kill the kid. If you want to keep someone quiet, that's the only sure way. But... I looked desperately at Kondo, who gave Okida a reproving look.
掃除、物騒なことを言うな。お上の民をむやみに殺して何とする。
Don't be so cold, Soji. What do we gain by murdering a civilian? Okuda's smile disappeared. He looked down at the floor.
そんな顔しないでくださいよ。今のはただの冗談ですから。
Oh, don't give me that look. I was just kidding.
冗談に聞こえる冗談を言え。
Then perhaps it should have sounded like it. Okida made an attempt at a derisive snort and looked intently at a wall, his face slightly red.
しかし、なんとかならんのかね。まだこんな子供だろ
う。But surely there must be something we can do. After all, we're talking about a child.
私も何とかしてあげたいとは思いますが、うっかり漏らされでもしたら一大事でしょ。
I have no wish to kill him either, but we can't discount the chance that he could reveal information about us. Seinen paused for a moment, his brow furrowed, then turned to Hijikata.
私は副長のご意見を伺いたいのですが。
I would like to hear the commander's opinion. With the responsibility of his position invoked, Hijikata had no choice. He sighed and glanced around the room.
俺たちは昨晩、指導に背いた大使を粛清した。こいつはその現場に居合わせた。
Last night we had to kill some men who broke the code. This kid was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
それだけだとおっしゃりたいんですか？
And I imagine you mean to say that's all there is to it?
実際このガキの認識なんざその程度のもんだとは思うんだが。
Well, he probably saw something, but I doubt he really understood what it was.
けどよ、こればっかりは大義のためにも内密にしなきゃなんねえことなんだろ。
Even so, this is serious. We have bigger things to think about. We have to keep this under wraps.
新選組の大使は血に狂ってるなんて噂が立ちゃ、俺らのタイムにだって支障が出るぜ。
If rumors got out that soldiers of the Shinsengumi are thirsty for blood, that would be problematic. Shinpachi's words made sense. They all knew it. Hijikata's face looked grim.
掃除の意見も一理あるとは思うけどな。ま、俺は土方さんや近藤さんの決定に従う。
I still think Soji has a point. Still, I'll do whatever Hijikata Kondo tells me to.
俺は逃がしてやってもいいと思う。
I think we ought to let him go. Toto was troubled.
こいつは別にあいつらが血に狂った理由を知っちまったわけでもないんだしさ。
It's not like he knows where they went nuts, you know. Wait, what do you mean by that? To be honest, I hadn't really thought about it. Hijikata saw my eyes go wide, and I saw his narrow. They flicked to Toto.
Heisuke.
Shototsuki. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut that immediately. No sooner were the words out of Hijikata's mouth than Toto clapped both hands over his own.
はあ、これでますます君の無罪方面が難しくなっちゃったね。
Uh-oh, well, this is going to make it even harder for us to just let you go.
何したるもの、死ぬ覚悟くらいできてんだろ。お前も諦めて腹くくちまいな。
A man should always be ready to face death. You should make your peace with yours. Man? Oh. They thought I was a boy. Well, you still kept it up, right? With everything else that happened, I'd completely forgotten how I was dressed. Oh, why am I doing my girly voice?
確かに潔く死ぬのも男の道だな。 俺も若い頃は切腹したし。
Very true. I braved death as always an option. When I was young, I committed honorable suicide. What does that even
サノの場合、まだ生きてるけどな。
Although it didn't really stick, did it, Sano? Their jokes were barbaric, but they both broke into raucous laughter at them. Gracious? Raucous? Saito did his best to ignore them.
土方さん、結論も出ないし、一旦こいつを部屋に戻して構いませんか。
Hijikata, since we can't seem to reach the consensus, can I send the child back to his room? As he spoke, Saito turned to look at me.
同席させた状態で誰かが機密を漏らせば、処分も何も殺すほかなくなる。
If you hear something you shouldn't while you're here, then we'll have no choice but to kill you. Ah, he was right. If I remained with them, then I could easily hear something I wasn't supposed to. I didn't think he'd mentioned it for my sake, only as a possible concern for the Shinsengumi, but I was still glad he brought it up.
そうだな。頼めるか。
True. Can you take care of him? Saito nodded.
私もその判断には賛成しますよ。ここにはうかつな方も多いですしね。
Sorry. I agree. There are too many careless men here.
うわ、三男さん。わざわざこっち見て言うとかきついよ。
Come on, Sanon. What are you looking at me for?
ま、仕方ねえよ。うかつなのは俺らの担当だろ。主に平介。
That ought to be pretty obvious. We're in charge of being careless, especially you, Heisuke.
そんな責めるなよ。俺だって悪気はなかったんだからさ。
Hey, back off. It was just a mistake, alright? I could hear Toto's voice rise as everyone turned to look at him. He looked at them for a bit, then turned to me, mumbled in a voice I could barely hear. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was still afraid that I was about to die, so I couldn't bring myself to tell him no harm had been done, but he looked as though he had meant what he said, so I gave him an awkward nod. It was the most I could manage. Shall we go? Oh, alright. You can now visit the status. Okay. That was weird, randomly to happen in the game. After they take me back to my room, I sat there for a time, looking down at my bound hands. Oh yeah, I forgot her hands were bound the whole time. The rumors I'd heard had said the Shinsengumi were cruel, vicious men, but they'd seemed much more human than that. Then again, even as I sat there, they were deciding whether or not to kill me. I don't think they want to kill me, but it seems like they might not have a choice. If I didn't defend myself somehow, I'd most likely be killed. I don't know how I'm supposed to convince them, though. However, they might have felt about me. It was clear their priority was the welfare of the Shinsengumi. Oh, right. They all still thought I was a boy. Perhaps if I told them I was a girl, they might reconsider. You'd be surprised. Or perhaps they wouldn't. Or perhaps they might make my predicament worse than that. That's true. You don't know what they are that way either. I had no idea what I should do next. Aha! The first decision of the game. There's a couple. Now, basically, certain decisions might not seem obvious, but some will give you points for other characters over others, and then the person you have the most interaction with by the end of the game is your ending. Like I said, there are choices to get like like ignore everyone and get a runaway ending, or it's like a ignore everyone else type of ending. So. What type of character is my character going to be? Is she truly afraid of what she needs to do, or will she find a way to talk to them and perhaps use a little bit of diplomacy? What shall I choose? We'll find out on the next episode of Hakuōki. Sorry, I'm going to take forever to figure that out. Yep, we're going to do a cliffhanger here. So in the next episode of Hakuōki, we'll decide how we want to handle this situation. Do we wish to escape and hopefully our guile will get us out? We will try to talk our way through it, and hopefully exposing ourselves as a woman will have them think of me differently. Find out next time. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next episode.